Senator from Michigan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise to speak in opposition to the nomination of Rachel Brand to be the Associate Attorney General. The Associate Attorney General is the third most senior position at the Department of Justice. And during these troubling times, I cannot, in good conscience, support Ms. Brand's nomination. The American public must have faith in its institutions, and unfortunately, that trust is eroding more and more each and every day. For the first time in recent history, we are facing questions about a significant interference from a foreign government in an American presidential election. Even more troubling, there have been serious questions about a presidential campaign's potential collusion with Russia, a foreign adversary. Mr. President, we have an idea of the potential problem here, and the Justice Department is supposed to be part of the solution. Unfortunately, the recent conduct of the President's appointees to the Department of Justice have only added fuel to the fire. First, Attorney General Jeff Sessions failed to reveal his communication with the Russians during his confirmation hearing. This omission led him to publicly pledge to recuse himself from Russian-related investigations. Then, in an inexplicable turn of events, the Deputy Attorney General and the Attorney General advised the President to fire former FBI Director Jim Comey, who we know was in the midst of investigating the Trump campaign's relationship with Russia. Now, let me be clear. That was a firing that the President himself admitted was related to, and I quote, the Russia thing. Then, the day after firing Director Comey, the President reportedly revealed highly classified information to Russian officials during a meeting in the Oval Office. A meeting that I may add, that was closed to the American press, but oddly included only the Russian press. You know, you simply can't make this stuff up. The level of turmoil and the questionable behavior on the part of this administration is deeply disturbing, not just for Americans, but for our allies all across the globe. We are currently lurching from crisis to crisis, and we must pause for a moment and consider what is at stake, namely the security and the future of our democracy. My Democratic colleagues and I have repeatedly called for a special prosecutor to take over all of the Russia-related investigations. And recent events show the need for a special prosecutor is greater now more than ever. It is time to put country over politics, and it is time for a transparent and thorough investigation into these concerns. If there is no wrongdoing, then the President should not be concerned about getting the American people the truth that they deserve. Our constituents need to have their faith restored in our institutions, and that will require transparency, integrity, and professionalism from officials at the Department of Justice. I join the vast majority of my colleagues in supporting the confirmation of Rod Rosenstein to serve as Deputy Attorney General with the belief that he would bring a voice of reason to the Department of Justice. The results have been, needless to say, disappointing. With the current state of this Justice Department, I have no reason to believe that Ms. Brand will fare much better. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to consider the very real challenges that we face. This is not an issue of partisan politics or the outcome of a past election. This is about protecting the sanctity of our democracy from outside threats, and we must, and I believe we absolutely must, work together to restore the credibility and the independence of the Justice Department. Until we have an independent, special prosecutor, and until we are confident that the Attorney General is truly honoring his recusal on the Russian investigation, I cannot support another senior political nomination to this Justice Department. I urge my colleagues to vote no. Mr. President, I yield the floor.